Hello, it's finally here. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, the most inconsistent channel on the planet. I say welcome back because on this channel, a year ago, or about a year ago, I made the Tim first reaction. And let's say that got a lot of views and a lot of likes. Thank you very much for that love on that video. And because of the love on that video, I have come back to review the album. Now I bet you're wondering, why did it take so long? And a long story short is that I believe that Avicii music needs time, and I think a year is a lot of good time to really value your judgment and say this song is good and I like this song for a few months before, because that's how I listen to music. I don't instantly say, oh, that's a good song, that's a bad song. Sometimes I listen to a song and say, that's crap, but then I go back to it and say, yeah, that's actually really good. So I need a year to really think about it. Sorry for that clarification. I was going to do it a few weeks after, but I just decided not to because I just didn't feel like I had a valued judgment on the album yet. And yeah, I kind of just waited for the full year to happen and then make my judgment on the album in full. A big thank you to the Avicii community for liking and watching the video. I'm so proud of this community, and because you gave the last video all the love, I'm gonna set a goal, a like goal for this video, and if we hit it, then you get a prize. If we get to 300 likes, then I will do a whole Avicii ranking, every single song in a ranking from, I don't know, 84 to 1. I think there's about 84 songs that Avicii's released. Maybe missing some out there. And yeah, 300 likes, that's 3 times more than I got on the last video. And the reason why that's so high is because that is going to be so much work to do, because it's like this review. I have spent so much time thinking, should this song go above it? Should this song go below it? And even now, I don't believe that this is a good representation, because the album is so good. It's not that I'm indecisive, it's just that everything that Avicii puts out, almost everything, is very good to amazing. By the way, just so that you know, I'm not blaming Avicii for Forever Yours being a bad song. It was an amazing song before Kygo changed it up, so that's not a hit at Avicii. It's that Kygo and Sandro kind of did something else with it and it didn't really work. So I'm not going to review it like every single other person on YouTube. I'm not going to give it a rating because you don't know what kind of music I'm into and what I consider quality, plus the fact that Avicii is just going to get 10 out of 10 every time. Instead, I'm going to do a ranking of all the songs and say which is the weakest and which is the best to me, my favourite. Then I'm going to go through all of Avicii's EPs, albums and singles to basically put it in where I think it would be in terms of Avicii songs, and also my personal favourite albums and where it fits in there. Number 12 is Ain't a Thing. This was hard because it's such a good song. It's just the weakest in terms of my personal favourites. That's not to say that it's a trash song. It's actually a really good song, and in terms of Avicii music, it's pretty high. So it is a very good song, don't get me wrong. The verses have a very talkative, I'm going to kind of talk about this shit kind of thing, which I think Avicii kind of wants to go into this album like, I'm going to talk about shit now. Like, I think the other albums kind of held back a little bit. He didn't want to talk about his own experiences. You can see a little bit of glimpses like 10 More Days and a little bit for a Better Day, but not on an album scale. There's not a massive album that's comprised of that, and you'll find that throughout this album that he just speaks from the heart, and that is really refreshing from Avicii to go, I'm going to talk about this shit and nobody can stop me kind of thing. And that's what this kind of song is. The actual lyrics, I say, are the weakest. Bond does a really good job, but the the lyrics, they're not bad, but I just don't think, I think they're the weakest on the album. And I don't think they don't pull any heartstrings, which all of the songs above this do. So unfortunately it comes down to the lyrics and the verses. However, the chorus is amazing, really hard hitting, and a beautiful piano in the back as well. Another thing, it's not something I'd replay in terms of listening to a song again. It's one of them songs that I listened to once and I feel satisfied that I've listened to it, because it does do the chorus 3 times. I feel that it drags a little bit. If I was to re-listen to it, then I probably would have done that if there was only 2 choruses. But it's one that I appreciate, and I listened to it once and feel like, yeah, that was a good song. But I don't really listen to it again after that. So number 11 is Freak. I hate putting this here because I have a lot of feelings about this song. It's not one of the songs that I would have liked earlier on, but just recently, the past few months, I've given it its time and I have really listened to the lyrics. And damn, the lyrics are some of the most heart-wrenching lyrics on this album. They are just so they just come, that it just feels like Avicii just pulled some layers off his kind of censorship and just talked about everything that he feels. And I don't think we've ever found that on Avicii music before. We've kind of seen glimpses, as I've said, but this album just definitely has so many ways where he kind of just lets out everything that he wants to say. And this song, I debatedly say this is the most heart-wrenching, and the lyrics are they just pull my heartstrings every time. The delivery by Bon is amazing as well. It's a shame that both of his songs are at the bottom. I'm sorry for that, mate, because your performance was really good. But Freak is at 11 purely because of the chorus. Now I know a lot of people think it's a really good chorus, but personally it's not my kind of thing. In the last video somebody actually gave me the link to where it came from. It's a Japanese song. Really interesting to see that, where he sampled it from. It's kind of like what he did with Levels, so it's kind of like what he did in the past. He's kind of gone back and thought, oh yeah, let's do that again. I've never done that. I haven't done that in a while, like with Levels. So yeah, that's really interesting. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea of a chorus. It's not as impactful as I would want it to be, and it just every time it just feels like I feel underwhelmed, and that's the only thing pulling it down. It's okay. It's a very calm kind of chorus, which I don't mind, but I just don't feel like it's my cup of tea. And in some cases I don't think it fit this song because of the implications of the verses, the lyrics. So I just don't feel like I just don't feel like the fit. That's just me being honest. But I do listen to the song quite a lot, and the lyrics are so heart-wrenching, and I love it for that. So unfortunately it's come at 11 because of the chorus. It's an okay chorus, but it's not my favourite. And yeah, number 10, Excuse Me Mr. Sir. This is where every song from here is just amazing. Everything is perfect from this point. Excuse Me Mr. Sir, much like Freak, is a song that I appreciate much after the release of the album. The chorus is pretty much what the whole song is about. The lyrics, I don't think that's, they're nice to sing. I don't really understand them. They're a little bit funny, because it's like it's shouting chicken, chicken, chicken. That is literally said 4 times in the lyrics. And I don't think the lyrics are supposed to be taken seriously, but I do like singing them, so I think they are good lyrics, but they're just not as heart-wrenching as the other songs. But I think it's amazing, amazing song. And it's just down here because I haven't liked it for as long as some of the others. And yeah, it's a very groovy song, and it feels like, you know, you kind of play this when you're with wacky friends, and it's like you know, you're outside and trying to find a song, and then, you know, the chorus comes on, and it's just such a it's such a happy song. So I think it is such a good song, and a really dance kind of song, without being, you know, predominantly EDM, and it's a song that I really appreciate as well. Number 9, I know this is going to be controversial, Fades Away. Now, I know the album could have ended in many ways. Heaven was apparently going to be the last song, because Avicii wanted to go from Avicii, the end of the bottom of Buddhist hell, to heaven, so like went from a high, real low to a high. Or they could have ended it with Never Leave Me, which was kind of Avicii's last song, and therefore his kind of send off, and his last words, really. Yeah, one is very uplifting, which is Heaven, and one is quite solemn and a little bit sad and a bit emotional, which is Never Leave Me. However, Fades Away does both of them, and the chorus is very uplifting. The verses are quite emotional. So I think it does a very good job, and I respect it for that. But it's just not a song that I would go back and listen to all the time. I have loved it for all the time that the song has been out, the album's been out. But it's just not one of them favourites that I believe are just, you know, gut-wrenchingly, like they're so good. So it just comes down to what is my favourite now, and you know, I respect this song so much, and I'm really sorry for putting it this low, but just hear me out. This is such a good song. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I just don't listen to it as much as I would do for any of the other songs above this. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. Nili Bayo does an absolutely amazing job, and nothing bad to say about it. It's just that it's not something I would play all the time. Number 8, Bad Reputation. This is actually my dad's favourite song on the album, and for pretty good reason. It's a very positive and good vibe song. Like Excuse Me Mr. Sir, Joe Janiak is great on the track. He's just amazing. He does a really good vocal. The lyrics are very singable and very uplifting, and yeah, it's a very perfect song. It shouldn't be this low on the list, but I just feel like I haven't liked it as much as the other songs. It usually, you know, comes around about 8, even though it's an amazing song. So this is a, you know, kind of average where it, you know, would be on the album. It's just that there's so many good songs in this album. It's so hard to rank it, and that kind of shows how much, you know, how hard it is to kind of truly show how much I love this album, because every song is really good and you can't really rank it, but it's just come down to my favourites, and this doesn't fall into my favourites, but it is one of my favourite songs of Avicii. It's really good. Number 7, Peace of Mind. Again, it's such a good song, probably the best song to intro the album. It really goes into the ends of switching off and going off social media and just get some peace of mind, just kind of switch off from social media, and that's a really powerful message, because, you know, it can affect your mental health, and I think Avicii kind of felt that as well. Just turn off and go, I don't care anymore, you just need to switch off. And in some cases it feels like he's saying switch off from social media when you listen to this album, because I'm going to say some stuff that's really deep and important. So it has kind of like a double meaning, like switch off, you know, to kind of really feel life, and, you know, it affects your mental health severely sometimes, but also to switch off to listen to this album, because I'm going to say some really good stuff, some really deep stuff. So again, it's really good. Number 7, just because there's, it comes here in my favourites. Number 6, Heart Upon My Sleeve. This is my mum's favourite. and for good reason. It's such a good song. I don't think it's as good as the 2013 version. I did say that in the album reaction, that this was better than the true version. Among rethought, I just don't think it does as well. I think it's when in the chorus of True, where it, when it goes do 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 do. In this one, that was a really bad song. Just don't judge me. In this one, it goes to the next verse, which is fine. But in the original, it goes into another, even more percussion-based chorus. So you think it's going to go back, and then it goes bong bong bong. So it's just a very. It depends what you like. If you like the lyrics, which Imagine Dragons did, which are amazing anyway. Not putting this down anyway. It's pretty high on the list anyway. So not putting it down anyway. But it's just my personal view that I prefer Avicii's True. However, the lyrics that Imagine Dragons had to add, thinking of you repeated, and he kind of shouts that lyric out to heaven or wherever, wherever Avicii is, kind of he's shouting it because he didn't know where he is, but he just shouts it because I'm thinking of you, and it's really deep message there. From kind of feels like what a friend would say. So it feels like it's kind of like what a friend would say. I'm thinking of you, and also trying to pick the pieces back together is also a correlation to what he had to do in this part, because he said we needed another verse and he never made that. So he had to pick up the pieces that he had and had to make something from that, and made that lyric and made that was such a good addition. It really shows how Imagine Dragons know what they're doing, and really connected with Avicii, or Dan Reynolds, connected with Avicii. I'm not sure, because I think there's a guitarist in the same studio, so I'm not sure whether that's the whole of Imagine Dragons, but the lyrics are just so good there, and I respect it so much there that it is number 6. Number 5, Never Leave Me. This is such a deep song, because it is his last song that he made and finished. As we know it, it's just such a deep song. As I've said on the Facebook page for Avicii, there's so many different ways you can describe this song. If you want to ask me about it, then ask me in the comments, because I just always find different ways of feeling how there's such a different message and context to the song, and to describe all of them it would take all day, because there's so many different ways you can kind of see how the song was supposed to feel, and like the messaging. Joe Janiak just does such a beautiful job as well in the lyrics, let me just say, and the chorus. Everything about it is just so beautiful and so artistic. Such a beautiful song. Number 4 is Heaven. Now this is a song which is just so brilliant. My reaction, because I'd listened to it before, my reaction is pretty similar to what I think of it now, because I had listened to it before, the versions before, so it's just it was edited a little bit to lengthen the chorus and stuff, make it a little bit slower. So I think my thoughts on the album reaction are pretty solid and pretty on point of what I think now. If you want to see that, go watch it here or there. I don't know how I'm going to edit it. But yeah, such a good song, such percussion, really good performance from Chris Martin. Nothing bad to say about it. It is an amazing song and is really reminiscent of where Avicii has gone, which is heaven. And it feels like Avicii is kind of lived on, because he's saying, I think I just died and went to heaven. He's still speaking, but he's gone to he's gone to heaven. He's moving on, and it just makes it feel like his life lasts forever, and that's you know, that's, I don't think there's any other song that really gets that positive, that goes, you know, there's no end, and you know, there's a happy ending for Avicii. So this is kind of the happy ending kind of song, and I think it's a really nice song to add to this album, because as much as most of this album is about his struggles on Earth, this song kind of goes, well, he's gone to heaven and he's kind of in a better place now. So I think, you know, that message really pulls at the heart, and everything else is very good as well. So nothing bad to say about it. Number 3, SOS. SOS wasn't one of my favourites before when it came out, but when I listened to the album a bit more, it slowly became a lot better, because it just fit with all the rest of the songs, and it's a song that I listen to a lot. When I listen to it, I'm like, right, I need to listen to that again. I need to listen to that again. I need to listen to that again. Oh, that's so good. I need to listen to that again, etc. It's such a good song. Halo Black does an amazing job as well. Nothing bad to say about it. It's such a good song. You guys already know it's an amazing song. Almost on 500 million streams on Spotify. Go stream it, because this is such a good song. Yeah, nothing to criticize it about. And yeah, it's amazing. Number 2 is Hold the Line. Hold the Line is one of the most replayable songs. It's one of the most replayable songs on the album. Such a good song. Has a lot of really good lyrics. Arizona is amazing. I believe they wrote it. And Arizona is one of my favourite, if not my favourite band. But yeah, it you know, and I've listened to their other music, and I'm really getting to love their music, and I'm a massive fan of them now. So thank you, Avicii, for getting me to, you know, learn who Arizona is, and getting me to listen to their music. So thank you very much for that, because they are really good musicians. The chorus and backing verse is so good as well. Just something I replay so much, and is, as I say, it is one of the most replayable songs on the album. But at number 1, you know what it is, Tough Love. Now, Tough Love was always going to be at the top, because of, it's just a piece of art. It is the most artistic song on the album, and the chorus just has so many feelings, and it's just like a dance, and it really feels like a love story. And I think a lot of songs, they kind of talk about love, but they actually make it feel like love in the actual chorus and music behind it. Yet this song, it just feels like, you know, it just feels like a duo dancing away, and as the music video does. The music video is really good as well, by the way. Amazing. It just feels like two kind of strands are blending together, and, you know, in love. And it's just a beautiful song. I could go on all day about how good this song is. That's why I'm just going to leave it here, because it's just such a beautiful song. The lyrics, Vargas Lagola do a good job. I didn't say Vargas Lagola did a good job on Peace of Mind and Excuse Me Mr. Sir. Let me just say they do an amazing job on this album, by the way. Agnes does a really good job as well, having that kind of, you know, the partnership that Avicii wanted in this song, with it being a real life couple. And yeah, I think it's just beautiful how it worked out and everything. So yeah, that's why it's number 1. In terms of Avicii albums, it's number 1. And I'm sorry for that if anyone feels like Stories or True is better. Go talk to me in the comments, or True Avicii by Avicii, or Avicii 01. If you think that's better, then talk to me in the comments. But I just feel like Avicii really In the other albums, I think it feels like he kind of held back on his feelings a little bit. He did talk about, you know, feelings that he's felt and, you know, love and stuff. And, you know, there's little glimpses, but this album is just, it just feels like it's kind of like, you know, there was a dam between his emotions and, you know, the world. And it just feels like this album just broke that, and, you know, his emotions are kind of, you know, been lifted, and, you know, he feels or he felt better to say, you know, talk about it rather than keep it in, which I think is the best thing, especially if we talk about mental health. And yeah, that's why it's number one. I just think that, you know, talking about his own emotion, I think made it a lot better because it just feels a lot more personal, and therefore put more emotion into it, and therefore meant that the choruses had more impact. And to make Avicii better, to actually make something better than what he's made before, was such a massive challenge. And for him to make an even better album than any other album he's ever made, I think just hands up to Avicii, because it's just that was such a challenging job, and he did it. Let me just say, he damn did it. And all of the people that worked on the album as well, they did it as well. They successfully made this album the best Avicii project that has ever come out. So thank you for all of the work that happened, that was done in this album from the others. But Avicii definitely made this album the best he has ever made. And in terms of albums ever, of course it's number one. Of course it's number one. The best album that's ever been released is Tim. If you're not getting the point, if I'm not getting the point across, this is the best album ever to me. So, long story short, that's what I feel about it. And that is the end of the review. I'm sorry if, you know, you wanted like more of a skeptical kind of feel of it, you know, kind of dissection of the album. I'm pretty biased because I'm an Avicii fan, a very big Avicii fan. I've got an autograph, Avicii's autograph. I put a photo on here. That's my autograph that I've got from Avicii. Those are very rare, actually, and I've got an Avicii top, and I'm a pretty big fan. I think for the past 5 years on Spotify, which is my main streaming platform, he's been my biggest, you know, artist, you know, my most favourite artist, most played artist. So, you know, I just saying, I am very biased towards Avicii. So if you were looking for something skeptical, I'm sorry, but this is just how I feel about the album. I hope you enjoyed the album review. Go watch the first reaction. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Put your opinions down in the comments, and just to remind you, 300 likes and I'll rank every single Avicii song ever. That is going to be a massive project, and if we get to 300 likes, then that'll be a massive achievement, and I will do that. If not, then that's a lot of work that I don't have to do, and a lot of hard decisions that I don't have to make in ranking Avicii songs. So if we don't get to 300 likes, that's good too, because that's a lot of work off my shoulders. And if you want to subscribe, that's completely fine. I won't upload that much, but it is very much appreciated. 100 subs will be lovely. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later.